Alright, so my project today is I get to install my CS GTS style carbon fiber hood on my BMW F3X. I am really excited by this. This hood upgrade I've been looking at for quite some time, and there are a lot of styles out there, and I was really excited to find a CS or GTS style hood for my car, which is really hard to find. And to be honest with you, I haven't found anyone except from my one source that I was able to find a hood like this. There are some others out there with like the M3, M4 style, you know, the bulge in the hood, but not that scalloped, scooped out GTS style. So when I found this, I knew I had to have one. Getting it into the country was really quite an adventure. I had to do all the importing myself, as I didn't find any vendors here in the US at least that had them. So to be able to find one and go through the whole process to bring it in was quite the adventure. If you take a look at my unboxing video, you'll see me kind of go through the whole arc of, okay, here we go, we're going to open the box and see what happens. But the good news is it turned out, and it turned out beautifully. As you can see in that video, when it comes out of the box, it looks great. And let's go get it installed on the car and see what it looks like there, so we can check fitment and everything else. Now the other thing is that I'm looking at is I'm considering bringing some more of these into the country so I could sell them myself. There's no one else in the country that I'm aware of that does it, but let's go take a look at it first and see what it looks like on the car and really get a sense if it's something that you're going to want on your car, so I could take that risk before you do for your own vehicle. So let's get out to the garage and get started. Alright y'all, so out here at the car, dealing with a fair amount of backlighting today, so I'll do my best and hopefully everything will be clear. The install on this is actually pretty simple. What we're going to do is transfer the components that we need from OEM and transfer them to the new hood and then install the new hood. You've got two big bolts sitting back here on each side, here and here. One thing I want to point out is the front one, there's a gap here in the mount for your hood. So when we install this, we're going to slide this top one on. The bottom one is a post that goes straight through. So there's two bolts on each side, and you've got your washer fluid assembly that goes across as well. So we're going to use a plastic trim tool, which if you don't have one of these kits, you really should get one of these. Your sprayers are basically just kind of clipped into place. There's hooks at the back and depressible clips up here at the front. So you want to get your plastic trim tool in and pry in and back, and it'll come off just like that. And then you walk it along, you pull each one of these hooks off, they'll just pop clean out. There's another one here, the other sprayer here. And as I walk around here, so forgive me here for a second. Now you get to look at the back of my head, great, huh? So you've got your connectors here. So you're going to want to unplug this. You want to get your plastic trim tool in, get this clip off. It should just come off nice and neatly, just like that. You've got your other sprayer right here. Which again, work your tool in and down. As you can see, it came right off. And then we're going to get in and get that right off as well. Okay, so it's really almost down to it here. So we'll get this last clip on this side and that side right there, which came off. And then this guy I'm going to unplug. So there's a little locking clip right here. I'm just going to raise that clip to get this unplugged. Okay, so we're going to get that unplugged. Then we're going to be looking at the 13 millimeter to take it off here and here. Now the fingers are pretty dirty, so I'm actually going to wipe this down a little bit because I'm getting quite a bit of gross off this underside of my hood. So I'm going to wipe this down. I'm going to come back, going to unplug this, and then we're going to talk about how to take these off. Now, if you're doing this by yourself, the hood is not all that heavy. It's about 50 pounds. But again, obviously you don't want to ding anything up or bash your hood. I'm going to be really careful with this. Once I get my new hood fitted and fit properly, I'm probably actually just going to sell this, so I'm going to want to make sure that it's in good condition. So I'm going to take this off really, really carefully. The process is going to be, though, is we're going to loosen and take off the back nuts. These should be 13 millimeter on both sides, and then we're going to loosen the top ones and lift the hood up and off. It is possible to do with one person. If you've got two to lift from both sides, get an extra set of hands. So I'm going to clean up my hands a little bit from the mess, unclip this, and then we're going to take off those nuts and get the hood off. All right, one thing I want to do really quickly before we take the hood off, because it's easier to show here. You have to transfer a couple of components. Your hood hooks are the first thing you're going to want to transfer on, and the process is going to be the same on both sides. You just squeeze and the cover comes off, and then this just screws right out of place. Now, the one other thing that we're going to want to do is you've got your hood adjustment posts right here, right? So what you'll do, once you got this off, and you take it off on both sides, take a pair of needle nose pliers and pull out the pins on either side, and then this whole assembly will come out. Now, on the hood, on the new hood, the hole for this is not there. So in the process of me doing this, I'm going to determine whether or not we need to add these back or not. Now, for now, I'm going to leave these in, but I want to speak to the process just in case once I finish up that I know that I need these, you'll know what I'm talking about. So again, you take a neat pair of needle nose pliers, pull these pins out on each side, and then this whole assembly will come out and you transfer it to the new. And you've got the same here as well. So just take these hooks off both sides, just squeeze to take the little plastic cover off, and then these will just screw right out of place. Next thing we're going to do is take the hood off itself. Now that the washer fluid assembly is off, that run is off, we've got our hooks off, and I'm going to leave these on for now. So let's get the hood off. Okay, so I've taken my 13 millimeter, I've loosened on both sides. The nuts are still on because they'll slide. And the hood, once they were loose, the hood slid down a little bit. If you've got an extra set of hands, this is a good time to have it. You can do this by yourself. The hood is a little heavy though, so we can sit on the nose and tip it so it comes up and away from the back posts, like that. And like that. All right, it's off. There we go. You get to look at my hood as I walk past. It's up and out. All right, so the hood is often put someplace safe. Just for a point of reference, the OEM hood is 48 pounds, and this GTS carbon fiber hood is 31 pounds. So you're going to save a little bit of weight. I would recommend, again, having an extra set of hands when you put it on, when you take the OEM off. It's not all that heavy. It really isn't. 48 pounds isn't a lot, but it's really kind of awkward. And as you can see, I really had to kind of lay on the engine to get it up and out, just because you have to reach so far back. If you had an extra set of hands, it'd be really easy just to lift cleanly from both sides. So I definitely recommend that. All right, so what I'm going to do today for fitment of the hood is I'm going to fit it into place, get it installed, but I'm not going to do final fitment today. What I mean by that is secured down completely like it's going to be on the car for the remainder of time, because I'm going to get it at least partially painted. So I'm going to take it back off, but what I wanted to do was show the installation, get it going for you, and get it installed so you can see what it's going to look like all in place and fitted. But I'm going to take it back off here in a few minutes and put my OEM one back on, because I'm going to take the carbon fiber hood off and get it painted. So, all right. So I'm also going to keep the bumper kind of plastic or the bumper foam that's around the outside. I want to keep that in place to help protect this as I do the install. Now, what I'm going to do is I've got the two front posts on, right? Because the front posts slot into place. As you can see, this is a lot lighter. So I'm just going to take that, slot that into place on that side, and into place on that side. So now it's sitting in place. So what I'm going to need to do is get the other bolts and put them through. Now, there's a couple of things that I am going to do. The bolts that I'm using are the bolts that came on the hood itself on those little mounting sticks to help keep the hood up and not bang up the corners. I'm using those same bolts because your OEM has permanent posts that come through the hood. This does not. This has bolts that have to go into place. I'm going to use the original bolts. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get washers, because I don't have any big washers. So I'm going to pull these, when I pull it back off, I'm going to pull the bolts back out. I'm going to put the wooden little traveling sticks back on, of course, for transport down to my paint shop. But I'm also going to get some washers. So I'll have that linked in the comments of the washers that I use, because you want to get a nice even pull on the hood. But for now, it'll definitely be okay. So I'm going to set this into place. I'm going to grab my two other bolts and I'm going to put them through the back to hold the hood in. And then I'm going to tighten it gently down into place so I can lower the hood and I can show you fitment and look how it fits. The one other thing that I haven't done is I stick my hand here through the hood. You can't see, it's slightly off my camera angle, is I don't have the vent in as well, but I will show you that because I'm going to keep the vent out for painting. But I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use 3M, double-sided 3M automotive, that automotive tape to secure that down later. But in the interim, let me get my other two bolts in. We're going to put the washer mounts back in, and then I'll show you what it looks like with the hood closed. All right, so the hood's on, and really this is I'm going to strongly suggest you take your time. You're going to see me go through this a little bit faster than I'm going to in the future, simply for the fact, like I said, this is not final fitment for me. This is fitment for the video, to make sure that everything fits and works. You understand the installation process, and then I'm going to take it back off so I can go get it painted. So you just screw these hooks back up into place, and I'm going to go probably about halfway to begin with, and you just slide these little collars right back over the top, and they should just lock right back into place just fine. So I'm going to get these hooks into place. Mine is a little bit loose, so I'm going to spread the hooks a little, get them to stay in a little bit better. Okay? All right, so I'm going to spread those hooks. I'm going to install the hook on the other side. Now, like I said earlier, the one thing that I'm not transferring right now is that hood adjustment height post right there. So, because what I want to do is check overall fitment. Now that hood adjustment height post right there is not actually cut out in this frame. So it may be that this hood doesn't need them. There you go, now the other side's in. Now what you can do is you can count the number of threads that are exposed to make sure that it's the same height, that sort of thing. And you're also going to want to adjust the back of those back hinges. So let me adjust down a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. Move down. So the other thing you're really going to want to make sure that you adjust really well is the fitment of where these bolts sit in the hinges, right? So I'm going to get washers, and I'm going to, like I said, I'm using the posts that it came on, or excuse me, the bolts that it came on. I'm going to put washers that are the same diameter as the nuts that I took off, because the OEM nuts have a built-in washer. So I'm going to get a washer the exact same size, and I make sure that it fits right in the same place. And I'm going to put them in the exact same position, those washers in the exact same position as you can see the discoloration on the mount right here itself, to make sure that the hood essentially is sitting in the exact same place as it was with the OEM. Because as you lower it, and the first times that you do this, be very, very gentle, right? So let me scoot back a little bit. Let's look to lower this and see what it looks like. So let's scoot back a little bit. Let me adjust a little bit here for y'all. Here we go. Excuse me. All right, so center vent is still out, obviously. Gonna lower really carefully. And also, I still don't have the washer fluid nozzles on yet, so I'm still going to do that. Okay, so not even close yet, right? Not even close. So it's still got quite a bit of space to come down to get into the locks. Okay, so I need to make some more adjustment. So you just want to adjust and adjust and adjust to get it into the right place for the locks. Take your time on this. Now, to put the washer fluid back in, you're going to do it in the exact same order. You're going to take there's little hooks at the back, and you're going to go to the opening here, rock those hooks into place, and then just rock the entire assembly up into place into the gap right here. So let me get underneath here a little bit. It fits right in, and we'll just snap right up into place. The clips are really tight, but that will fit in right there. All right, now, and then the other thing you're going to want to do is on this assembly, there are these little push-in posts, right, that we pried off with our plastic trim tool. If you notice, those holes are not here. They're also not here over here for your plug-in and where that joint comes up for the washer fluid itself. So you're going to want to get some good, like automotive tape, and tape. I'm going to tape them down in the same positions. I'm going to take these clips off and tape them down in the same positions as we go across to secure them down, because it does not have these holes. Okay, so just rock these up into place, do these on both sides. And like I said, for me, I'm gonna really take my time on doing this because I'm gonna take the hood right back off. But let's, I'm gonna adjust a little bit. I'm gonna get it fit a little bit better, but as you can see the process, start at the back, make sure that your bolts are in the same position with washers if you're using the bolts that the hood came with. I'm going to get washers, linked in the description will be the size of the washers that I got, and the hood's in the right same position, and then adjust. So lower it, adjust these again, probably needs to go in further by quite a bit I suspect, and I'm going to count threads. So for example right now I'm 4 threads out, now I'm about 3 threads out. So I'm going to start there, right? I'm going to start at 3 threads out and work my way out until I get, excuse me, I get the right fitment and it sits in the right place. All right, so I'm going to walk through that process. As you can see how you're going to reattach the washer fluid assembly. I'm not going to do that right now, for obvious reasons I don't need to repeat. I'm going to get this adjusted, then I'm going to get this down into place, and then we'll do a walk around of what fitment looks like in place. And I'll set the center vent in place. I'm just not going to secure it for right now. So let me get that done and I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. All right, it's on. I clipped my washers into place for now, simply because once I got this hood on and fit and down, I might leave it like this. I don't know. I haven't decided. So what I'm probably going to do is run for a few days with this in place, leaving it just carbon fiber and seeing what it looks like and seeing if I'll leave it this way. I'm really torn. So I've got a little bit of still fitment issues where the gaps are slightly uneven. This is not a problem with the hood. This is because I need those washers that I mentioned that I'm going to go get. It's a little off center on the mounts, on the hood mounts themselves. I will fix that as soon as I have the washers. So I also dropped and put the vent into place. It's just sitting there for right now. As you can see, it moves. But this looks really good. I just continue to be super excited about how this looks. Fitment is good. There's, like I said, there's a slight amount of right-left adjustment that needs to happen to the hood, but it's not going to hold that until, as you can see, there's a little bit of extra gap right here. It's not going to hold that until I have the washers, which actually I'm going to go get. Now that the hood is on and locked down, I'm going to go get them. So all in all, I'm really pleased. This looks really good. This makes such a dramatic difference in the look of the car that it's really quite tremendous. Where you have like the Cebon brand style carbon fiber hoods that have that M hump in the center right there. This would be the GTS or CS as you see on some of the new competitions. The CS style with the vent, which I really like and really makes it pop. So I really like it. So I'm gonna run off, I'm gonna go get some washers, and then I'm going to finish the mount, and then I think I'm going to leave the hood on for a few days, and we'll see. We'll see what it looks like. My initial painting idea, just to share with you my thoughts. If I do paint it, I'm going to probably paint it partially. So what I'm going to do is this outer swoop, I'm going to come down, because I'm graphite metallic, around the nose and up the other side, which would lead, and a little bit down the slope right here. So like, draw like an imaginary line like up through here, swooping up from the vent, leaving that raw carbon fiber and with the graphite metallic around the outside. So that's my initial idea. I'm going to take my vent back out for now, of course, since it's not secured down, as just kind of an interesting little side note, as a, hey, that looks kind of cool. You can see my red intake through the vent. So, all right, so all done for now. All the parts and everything that I've used will be listed in the description. And this is something that this hood I imported myself. So I've got a connection for this. So this wasn't hosted from one of my awesome partners. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message, shoot me an email. I'd be happy to talk with you about it. And all in all, I'm really pleased. This looks great. All right, so all done, and the hood's on and looks absolutely fantastic, as you can see. As I mentioned, I went out and I got some bolts and some washers so I could attach it just a little bit better, and I can share just a few tips or tricks on how to get the hood on more straight, kind of in the best way, so your fitment is dead on. So what I did is I had those those two bolts that fit in on either side, the top ones, the closest to the nose of the hood. I put those on first, fit the hood on, and then fit the rest down so I could put the bottom bolts on either side through. And the bottom bolts I put on loosely. The top ones I tightened down a little bit with the washer on, and I got washers of the exact same size as what were there on OEM, so I could match them, the kind of the marks on the paint there on the hood posts themselves. So I got those matched up perfectly. So then as you kind of straighten the hood right, left, to make sure that those all line up, if you line up the washers exactly right to the exact same marks of the same size, you pretty much have it lined up dead on, you know, for that shifting right, left. So it's not crooked at all, right? And then it'll also be at the same depth, give or take, as it comes down and fits on really well. Now, I'll probably make a few fine little adjustments here and there. I can see like a very slight difference on one side than the other, but I'm probably only off by maybe a 1/16 of an inch, maybe, or even a 1/4 of an inch on like one corner. So I'll do a little bit of touch up. As I talked about maybe painting it, I think it's a real good chance I'm gonna paint it on that kind of swoop style that I've seen, you know, kind of like down from one corner of the hood, across the nose, and up to the other side, leaving the center clear carbon fiber. I'd say the chances of that are real good. So, as I mentioned before, it's really been an adventure to bring these in. If you're interested in potentially buying one of these for your car, please leave me a message, shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to talk to you about it. Right now, I'm looking at only Pacific Northwest fans and enthusiasts because it'll be easier for me to get it to you or you from me than me shipping it. I don't have an estimate on shipping costs yet. But as you can see, it looks really good and is really unique. I know that my car is going to be rolling around out there with not, you know, like an M style copy hood. I'm going to have a GTS hood, and it's really going to stand out and look really different, which I'm really excited about, and it looks fantastic. So one last point, I went ahead and I attached my grill there in that center cutout divot, and I used double-sided 3M tape to go around the outside really nice and clean, and then pressed it down into place. So it turned out really well. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. I try to address anything that I get. If you're interested in potentially getting one of these yourself, give me a shout and we can talk about it. And we can even look into shipping as well, if that's something you're interested in, though I don't have that information yet. So, if you like what you've seen, please click subscribe and click the little announcement bell as well, so you'll get notifications when I have new videos that come out. And I have a lot more projects coming. They're actually building faster than I can get them done right now. So there's a lot more coming in the future, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video.